College acceptances have come in and deposits are being paid now, but it is time to make sure your almost adult is ready to be financially responsible before they head off to college. Now joining us live with more is certified financial planner, founder of Financial Wellness Strategies, and author Bobbi Rebell. Bobbi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Now, in your book, Launching Financial Adults, you talk about the importance of teaching your kids to become everyday money smart. So what do you see as some of the most common mistakes young adults make?
Well, first of all, just not having open conversations with their parents. Sometimes kids are embarrassed that they don't know things that they think they should know. And we as parents assume that they know things and they don't. So it's important to be overt and say, I made these mistakes when I was young. Maybe you didn't understand how paying back a credit card really worked. A lot of people misunderstand. They think they should pay only the minimum balance. So they think they're doing the right thing. So go over and don't assume, and make sure they understand that you're not going to judge them. You may not solve all their problems, Maria, but you are going to be there for them as a resource.
Now, if as a parent you are lucky enough to be able to pay for your child's school, is there any value in asking them to pay for some things themselves?
This is very much a personal decision, and it depends what's right for your family and the balance. But there is a lot of value in making sure that they understand how far their money goes. So I think it's always good for kids to have a job, maybe even the summer before school if you don't want it during school. But give your kids credit. They can probably balance more than you think. It's not a bad idea. Maybe if you're going to be able to pay for their tuition and their meal plan and their dorm and that kind of stuff, say, well, maybe you're going to pay for the activities, or maybe I'll pay for the meal plan. So that's free for you. But if you want to go off campus and eat with your friends, you're going to pay for those extra expenses, so that they understand sort of that life costs money. Maybe you'll pay for the basic, laundry machine in their dorm. But if they want to go for the fancy, delivery of the laundry, those luxury things, they understand that those cost extra, and it'll help motivate them when they choose their career, frankly, because that's the real world. It's coming for them.
So student loan debt, a hot topic still. What should you say to your student about how student loans work?
So this is so important that they understand what loans they have, if any, and how they will work, and what the consequences are if they don't necessarily pay them off in the way that it's pre-expected, let's say. So make sure they understand, first of all, the difference between government loans and private loans, because that's a huge difference in what your options are in terms of paying them off. It can be a huge difference in the interest rate and so on, and maybe in the possibility of forgiveness, which can be tied to their career choice. So make sure they understand that. Also, make sure that they understand the difference between a loan and a grant and a scholarship, because, for example, a scholarship may have some strings attached. They may have to make sure that their GPA stays at a certain level, and they may have to reapply year after year for all kinds of different support that they get in terms of paying for college. So the most important thing is just keeping those lines of communication open and making sure that things are transparent.
So how do you handle the conversation around consumer debt? Because, I think all of us have made poor choices in our maybe late teens, early 20s. How do you keep shame out of the conversation so they can solve the problem?
So important. Make sure that you, first of all, relate to them. Many of us have made, as you said, we've all made mistakes at some level with different levels of consequences. So sometimes maybe being a little bit vulnerable and saying, I want to make sure you don't make the mistakes that I have. And if you're that rare person that didn't make mistakes, you can use a generic example or something in the news or something like that. But most of us have, sadly, our own stories. So make sure they understand that you are not perfect. I know in writing Launching Financial Grownups, I actually learned so much about my own parents and their ups and downs in their financial decisions. And it made it so much more human to me, because we often put our parents up on a pedestal. So humanize it. Make sure they understand you're not going to judge them. You may not write a check to solve all their problems, but you're going to be there to help them figure it out.
Bobbi Rebell, author of Launching Financial Grownups. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.